The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
You know, we have Tom from Tampa on the phone. Hey, Tom. Good morning. It's bright and early now, huh?
Hey, Paige. Good. How you guys doing, Nico?
Doing great.
Good. Hey, your newsletter's outstanding, man. I'm telling you, man, it is outstanding. And so is the Primal Edge. I love that stuff. I'd never be without it. I mean, I've been on it now 3-4 months, man. I mean, it's just, I can't get over how good I feel.
Primal Edge is, people are raving about it. People who are trying it, they know because you can feel it.
Would not be without it.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico and Haan and Paige Clarke.
Well, good morning. I'm Paige Clarke. Welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore our return to a more balanced, natural, and wild world.
Yeah, to recover our natural health and regain our rights and freedoms, and I'm Nico and Haan.
It's a beautiful day. Spring has sprung. We got a nice balmy 76 degrees and in downtown Clearwater, Florida. I hope you're enjoying the weather where you're at.
Yeah, like the summer just arrived. It seemed like we had that little tropical system move through. A lot of wind yesterday, the day before, a little rain, which was nice to cool things off. And now we've got the humidity really high, and it feels like summer's just around the corner. So
well, there you go. And we're here to help you live longer, stronger, healthier, and wealthier. And we hope that you'll pick up our Health Signals newsletter.
Brand new one out here, folks.
That's right. News you can use twice a month.
Yeah.
$10 a month right into your inbox with lots of clickable links so you can stay up to date on the stuff we are
Yeah, and this
exploring.
is an interesting article. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago about play and the definition of play and why it's so important to us. This
Primal
is
play.
actually issue 10, and I put 11 in here, so the next one will be 10. I'll just go backwards. And
You know, nobody would have noticed that.
I know, but I'm anal that way. So.
Hey, if you have any ideas for our show, please feel free to email me at paige@tfnn.com.
And Nico at TFNN.com, and of course we are taking your phone calls at 877-927-6648.
That's right. I have a couple things I wanted to share with our listeners today, Nico.
Okay.
This article came across from one of the people that I pay attention when they speak, and that's Dr. Cowan, Dr. Tom Cowan. I know we've talked about him. He is a anthropological doctor. He's the Rudolf Steiner methods of biodiversity and biodynamic farming.
Okay.
So he is a medical doctor specializing in all kinds of things, but really is one of the proponents of the whole concept that the heart is not a pump alone, you know.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we talked about
6
him,
months, yeah.
Yeah, we talked about him. So I love his garden. So he's also an organic gardener and produces these phenomenal whole food vegetables that are grown in his garden based on biodynamic principles. And he has some very interesting information because you and I often talk that perhaps we're, you know, as we eat, get a lot of our nutrient-dense foods from animal foods because they have the fat and the protein.
Right.
And
It's
do we
already
really
been
need to eat
converted.
all these vegetables? You know, we see a lot of people with dysbiosis when they're eating too many plant-based foods that they can't digest due to
Right.
the lectins and the enzyme inhibitors. And perhaps we need to be more diverse in our vegetables. We have some very well-placed vegetables, but we get them in season, and we get them from different species.
Yeah.
Let
That would be
plants
nice if
be
we
thy
got it that
medicine,
way.
right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Well, one of the reasons why the digestion is different from plant foods to animal foods really have one membrane that surrounds their cells, where plant foods actually have 7 membranes. So there's a lot more to get through. So
Tough
your
to
body's
digest.
very hard to
As
digest.
evidence sometimes in your toilet.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That's a
and
sign.
of course, some of the things that happened is the seed-based type that we call vegetables, which I don't really call vegetables. They're more grains.
Yeah.
You can call them vegetables, and some people do, but I don't. And the grain-based have even more things like the lectins, the anti-nutrients in them, to keep them in the seed formation so they don't sprout right away.
That's a key point. We've talked about this a lot, and we'll continue to do so as we try and help us live a primal lifestyle that gives us our best primal health. So here's a great article. Are your daily multivitamins really beneficial to your health? a lot of people are wondering this. Inquiring minds want to know.
And I've been a proponent of taking vitamins for most of my life after college, and once I could afford to buy some vitamins, the first thing I thought of was vitamin C in the old days, back in the 70s, and then all of a sudden it started, the multivitamin came in, and I started taking different things, and sometimes you feel like it's working and sometimes you don't. But really the vitamin kick really began in the early part of the 20th century, so the early 1900s, and there were different products being used.
Well, it was because they were just discovering these vitamins. They didn't know what they were.
And the first one I remember taking was cod liver oil when I was living up north in Canada. My mother would come along with it, and I would go, "Ew, that's horrible."
Well, there was a huge push, and, you know, in the Weston A. Price Foundation, it was a big part of a lot of traditional diets to get those fat-soluble nutrients. But let's go on. So they were starting to discover in the early part of the 20th century what these vitamins were. Vitamin A, true vitamin A, or retinol, was the first vitamin discovered. Hence the name vitamin A. It makes sense. They kind of started with alphabet and nomenclature, and the name retinol came about because it was found that a deficiency of vitamin A caused blindness, or connecting this substance to the retina. A lot of people probably don't realize that. Retinol.
Right.
You know, there's some hints in the words. So soon after came the discovery of the B vitamins, and then vitamin C, etc.
And I'm thinking D is later, and it goes on.
Yeah,
This
exactly.
is, as they discovered it, they just put a number on it, or actually a letter in chronological order.
But even in those early days, there was a debate emerging, you know, should we, shouldn't we, as to whether these newly discovered vitamins were simple chemicals found in plants and animal foods, or whether they were part of a complex combination, a whole food complex of nutrients that were found in abundance when we get them from well-grown foods from healthy soil.
Yeah.
And that's still the question, right?
I think it is. I think it's, you know, whether you're taking one thing or should it be in a complex, because they react to each other, and your hormones react to how they're dispensed, like the food dispenses.
But by far, you know, by far, most medical people and the scientists kind of got in the camp that, oh, it doesn't matter, just take a chemical synthesis of the vitamins, and they believed that these vitamins were simply chemicals and therefore could be adequately supplied to people in their simple chemical forms. And this belief gave rise to the commonly accepted practice of taking chemicals, or coal tar derivative,
And
as
then it
Dr. Marshall said.
Yeah, it kind of split into two camps, saying, well, the chemicals may not be good, but the vitamins that the chemicals come from are. So is it plant-based, or is it just coming from the laboratory?
Right. Is it better to have it, even though it's from a laboratory, because it's not in the soil, or is it better to get the whole food? And thus we've had this prominent conspiracy or decision of what's the right thing to do for some time, and a few prominent medical people dissented on this. And the most notable person was Dr. Royal Lee and Weston A. Price.
Two
big guys. And Royal Lee was the founder of the Standard Process Nutritional Company, and Royal Lee in particular insisted that the newly discovered vitamins were effective only when they were part of whole food complexes or animal tissues from which they arose. Hence
so more of a basis.
Whole food based.
Yeah, whole food based, and it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's
just looking at it that way.
Right, and Royal Lee founded the company Standard Process, and he based this whole food principle and invented ingenious machines to carefully extract the nutrients from plants and animals without destroying the all-important matrix in which these nutrients arose. And it's Standard Process is still a very well-respected professional
88
company.
years this process has been around.
But we're going to talk a little bit more about the whole truth about whole foods and vitamins after this break.
And pick up the Primal Edge while we're at it. We're talking about this whole foods. Here it is right here, folks. We'll be
right back.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated folic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, Life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
So we're talking a little bit about the importance of vitamins and specifically whole food complexes. Mm-hmm. We discussed that Royal Lee and Weston A. Price were big leaders in this arena when we started to even determine what vitamins were. And Weston A. Price spent his life traveling and became famous for the treatment of his patients through the use of supplements such as cod liver oil that you mentioned.
Yeah, he has his own invention, which was butter oil.
Yes, he called that the X factor. For many years, he noticed that there was something about traditional cultures that they had wow health, and these were the people that had the X factor. And for years, he just called it the X factor, right. And we learned what it is. It is vitamin K2. Yeah. So vitamin K2, and his source of it is high vitamin butter oil, and it comes from butter that comes from cows who eat this rapidly growing grass.
Spring grass, we call it, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So again, it was the vitamin K2 that is the super nutrient, and we're hearing a lot more about this.
Yeah, he said he took great care, particularly with his butter oil, to extract the final product with as little disruption of the oil as possible. He believed that this matrix was crucial to the success of the supplements and vitamins themselves, and this reminds me of when we were searching
that was
for
his
something.
X factor. Mm-hmm.
That was his X factor, and we were kind of looking for that simple kind of formula that we don't disrupt a lot of the vitamins and minerals, especially the oil-based ones in our Primal Edge. And we found out that the real thing that spurs it all on is this fulvic and humic acids.
Which comes from the soils, right?
That comes from the soils, and it actually adds as a communication device to open up the cells to let the good stuff in and the bad stuff out. Exactly. So it's actually detoxifying you while it's giving you the nutrition. And this is the simplest form. It's liquid. It's easy to take. And what we'd added to it was the vitamins and minerals that they're talking about here.
It's a synthesis product. We built it on a whole food complex,
right,
using whole soil, the fulvic humic complex. And when we did add some of the vitamins that we know, we've seen a lot of research, the methylated Bs, because a lot of people are having trouble. But we do, shamelessly want to plug our Primal Edge right there. But getting
Well, sure.
back,
It's an important thing.
Yeah, but getting back to learn, there's no doubt that we're learning about the interaction of food and health.
Right.
And we can't really help, as Dr. Cohen says, but be struck by how, the hundreds of phytochemicals, many of which we haven't even identified, that are in plants. They are so crucial for the prevention of disease, and new research is showing that many of the phytochemicals that even ones we haven't identified, are really actually very important in reversing disease, and I learned that from my
Well, not only
Qigong.
reversing, but also prevention is there.
That's why,
Yeah.
as we said, let plants be thy medicine,
Yeah, so we
not necessarily the food.
That's right. We kind of look at it that way, and me, I think even more so because I eat a lot less of it. But when I do eat it, we do eat a lot of variety, and I like to put it in soups and, spice up my meats and things with those things.
Well, I think you'd really like Dr. Cohen's products, and I do carry
Probably
them
so,
in
yeah.
my office,
Okay.
and I have to get you some. But the nourishment and prevention can really come through a strategy of eating a wide variety of plant and animal foods in as close to their natural state as possible. So Dr. Cohen, as one of the founding members of the Weston A. Price Foundation, by the way, very big proponent of animal-based foods with the natural fats and proteins. But I think what he's saying here, and what's been the inspiration for his garden, is there is powerful medicine in the plants.
Yeah.
But our native people didn't sit around and gorge themselves on 10 pounds of salad over and over the same salad every day.
Right.
They were foraging, and they came across a plant or an herb or something, and that was for that day, and the next day it might be something different.
Yeah, usually the plants have different properties about every 2 weeks, different flowers and different petals. Think of it, too, that animals during the year have different types of abilities and different types of things that happen. In the fall, they're going to be much fatter. So if you kill a moose in the springtime, it's going to be a skinny, scrawny little thing.
Yeah, because he's kind of worn out.
You got a lot more protein in it, and the fat probably isn't quite as good. But this is where the plants come in, because now we have springtime, new plants are there, and this is where you substitute some of the things you're not getting from the animal to the plant. In the fall, the same thing happens. We have a lot more fat in the animals.
Well, that's
but we
because
have,
during the summer they ate the fruits and vegetables, the
Right.
sugar, and
so
stored
do
the
we.
fat. Yeah.
So we're eating a lot more fat, and we're eating a lot more sugar in the fall, too, and that helps us gain weight
But the key thing, Nico, is these animals are signaled by something, and that something is the season. That something is the light. That
Yes,
something
back
is
to
the
the sun
time.
always, yes.
The sun, the cycles, the circadian rhythm, the chronobiology.
Yeah.
And so, yes, I just wanted to share Dr. Cowan's great research and great products. Dr. Cowan's Garden. You might want to visit it and check it out. Speaking of biodiversity, and that's how he grows beyond organic foods and fruits and vegetables that can be used in your foods, I wanted to go into this article about how important, speaking of primal living, learn how biodiversity can improve your microbiome. And our microbiome is really enhanced because our primal men and women didn't have a grocery store in every corner to go get their food or their same foods over and over again.
Right.
How many people do you know that buy the same things and eat the same thing? Almost like clockwork.
Yeah, when I think of primitive man, I think of two things that he eats the same, and that's the animal food and honey. Those two things are always what they were after. The rest of the stuff kind of mixed in and would change.
And they never knew what they were going to get. But I wanted to share this article that dramatically demonstrates the value of diversity in the human diet. There was a professor from England whose work entailed, Nico, studying the diversity of the microbiome, primarily the bacteria in the gut, and he traveled to northern Tanzania and Africa to live with one of the last groups of hunter and gatherers, and these were the Hadza, for 3 days, and during this time he ate only what they ate, such foods as baobab porridge. Oh, that's interesting. Baobab seed oil in aromatherapy, we use it as that oil, but that's interesting. Baobab porridge, wild berries, forage tubers, and porcupine organs and meat.
Honey is an important food for them as well. And,
There you go.
and here there is our little friend eating some honey right there. So.
How cute, yeah.
And honey is one of the things that maybe they overconsumed when they got it, but there's so much good richness in there that probably didn't even, maybe it spiked their sugar, maybe it didn't matter.
It didn't matter because it's such a active, living, whole food complex, the most complete form of all the B vitamins. And again, there's stuff in honey we've yet to identify. You know, it doesn't spoil. They found honey in Egyptian tombs that are 3,000 years old, and it's still good. So, but after just 3 days, this professor returned to England. He tested his own microbiome, and he was astonished to find that even in that very short time, in those 3 days, he experienced a tremendous increase in the diversity of his own microbiome.
Pretty amazing.
So unfortunately, after resuming the modern diet of the English, after another short time, his microbiome reverted to a previous level.
Mm-hmm.
And this finding suggests that, as one would imagine, the all-important diversity of the microbiome is a direct reflection of the diversity of the foods we eat.
You know, these Hasda must be getting all kinds of scientists there, because every book I read and every...
Oh, they studied them. Yeah, it was a very well studied...
There must be lots of people there studying these. Because
well, they called them the last hunter-gatherer tribe, or one of the last.
And living just south of Kenya there, I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful area. Who wouldn't want to go there?
That's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we take a short break. We'll continue our talk about staying healthy with food diversity.
We'll be right back.
Would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's Nadex.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the show, folks. I'd like to remind you before we get going here that the Health Signals newsletter is out. It's actually issue 10. It says 11 here, but don't worry about that. A lot of good stuff in here. Really talking about play and
Do you have
what
a good
the
recipe
definition
in there?
Yeah, we got lots of recipes.
I know. I've been in a mood
Really?
to just try new things. And the Health Signals newsletter always has something really good that you can whip up in the kitchen.
Well, this one that I put in here was
Oh,
really
look at that,
good.
lamb meatballs with walnut romesco.
Yeah, very good recipe, and I'll tell you, it's dynamite. It can be really a good appetizer for something. So, yeah, pick
And
that
that's
up.
the neat thing. I know that you often kind of taste test these. You and
Well,
Ellen do many of the recipes.
Yeah.
If people have been subscribing to the Health Signals newsletter, you have a treasure trove of good stuff there.
Yeah, and I like the recipes because it makes me think of how to change things out a little bit. Often we have these 5 or 6 different kind of meals that we have planned during the week, but it's nice to mix them up with a recipe. And
Yeah.
It's funny, I was talking to somebody about, the ovens and how we cook things. She says, I can never get this meat right. She says, I did exactly what you said. And I said, well, where's the tray, And the thing is, every oven is a little bit different. So when
Yeah,
you
it's hard
first
to say.
have an oven or you get a new oven, now you have to kind of experiment of how long does the meat stay in there and how high is it and that type of thing. And if you have electric or gas, it's completely different.
Oh, sure.
So,
It's very hard. You always have to adapt it to what you're
her
cooking.
thing was, well, I did it twice. I'm going to give up. I'm not going to do that anymore. I said, hey, it's about experimenting. I said, did you eat it? She says, yeah, it was delicious. She says, it just didn't look right. I says, well, this is the way that you get it right, by practice.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, unless you try things.
Exactly.
Well,
Well,
speaking of getting things right, Nico,
Okay.
You and I are always talking about how we're healing, and we're not about saying this is wrong and this is right, but we are about looking objectively and seeing how human beings have thrived over the years. And I have been in this real in-depth studying stuff. I told you about that article I saw that really made the point that, we tend to view Homo sapien as an improvement on our evolution from the Neanderthal.
And maybe not so.
And not so. This article, this research was rather compelling that, in fact, we are a downgrade. Our skull has shrunk. Our maxilla and our jaws have gotten smaller. These are all adaptive to a kind of a decrease in effectiveness. But this has had me fascinated in what really keeps us healthy. And I wanted to share a little bit about this site because more and more people are starting to realize that some of their food sensitivities, it may not be that gluten is your total enemy. It may actually be that you have more of a histamine issue.
And what is actually a histamine issue?
What happens when our histamine levels get higher, foods that raise histamine levels, it keeps you in kind of a inflamed state.
Yeah.
And it activates mast cells. So you get congestion. And so I
Nose
think...
is running,
exactly.
that type of thing.
And this journalist, who was a rather renowned journalist, she became so incapacitated from her histamine intolerance that she really created a whole website, and it's called healinghistamine.com. And she has a very transformative story, and she was diagnosed with histamine intolerance, HIT, not HIIT,
Right.
This was back in London in 2010, and she wholeheartedly embraced the traditional hardcore elimination approach, a low histamine diet, and even more elimination of all foods that bothered her. She was realizing it was fructose, salicylates, histamine, oh my. So in other words, we've talked about the plant paradox, Dr. Gundry's book, right?
Right.
Maybe there's even more food categories that can be problematic for people when there's inflammation in the body.
Well, of course, histamine is a problem if you're eating meat that isn't, the animals haven't eaten their own food, because now the animal's inflamed. So now the animal's just passing it on to you.
Well, conventional animals are pretty inflamed anyways.
That's
They're
what
on, exactly.
Yeah, so that's the whole thing. And maybe the same thing could be happening with the food in preparation. So when we prepare food into bread and things like that, the histamine also rises in there, because your body has to break it down, and if it's inflamed while it's breaking it down, then you're going to have that histamine problem. I certainly feel that, and part of having allergies and things like that is the histamine problem.
And when you look at the pictures on her website, I don't know if it's actually on here, but look at this picture. Keep going, Nico. Right down here, she has a picture of the bloated belly. Yeah. And there's a lot of people that are like, holy cow, am I 7 months pregnant or something? I ate dinner and I didn't eat that much. But many times this histamine and leaky gut situation, we're all hearing about the leaky gut. but are the foods perhaps the histaminic type of foods that are causing the problem? So she has a very interesting journey, and if any of you are having digestive issues, I think it's really important that you maybe take a look at this, because you know, when she went down this journey of her health, you know, kind of going in a spiral, she began to cram in as much histamine, mast cell, inflammation, nutrition, and biology information as she could, and she realized that what she'd been doing to her body had kind of set her on a, like, hamster's wheel, you know, of not being able to heal. Mm-hmm. And she had a hunch that whatever happened to break down her body was now in the past, but she was somehow in a horrible cycle of inflammation, and as a result, lack of nutrition because of poor absorption. Yeah. And it was, you know, it was slowly really affecting her health. And she actually had some anaphylactic episodes. And, you know, some people have kind of an arrhythmia or tachycardia things with their heart with food sensitivities. They end up in the emergency room, and they're like, your heart's fine. But these were all stressors. And I wanted to just share this site because as a natural health advocate, I feel like this might have a lot of value to a lot of people.
Well, histamine is triggered by certain things, and one of the things is inflammation right away. So if we're, you know, for the past few weeks we've been talking about inflammation just from light, from the LEDs, from 5G or even 4G or 3G. All these electronic devices cause a lot of problems in us.
Exactly.
And one of the things is the inflammation. So there is your histamine right there, because histamine is there to try to solve the problem, in a sense, get stuff out. It can be reactive in food. It can be reactive with materials, building materials. So your environment, everything has to do with histamine, I feel. So if you want to
I'm glad you said that, because like what she said is it took her over about 1 year, Nico.
Wow.
She went on a high nutrient, histamine balanced diet, rich in antihistamine and anti-inflammatory foods, and this gave her her life back. And she said, I believe that elimination diet has its place for a limited time. This kind of ties in with what we talked about earlier. Because why? We don't want to be limited diet too long, because we just talked about the importance of biodiversity, of having selection, of having choices. And but the goal should always be to reintroduce high nutrient foods as soon as possible, and you know, try to get in a situation where you don't have to eliminate food groups, but when there's been damage and there's this inflammation.
And it's just this stacking of the different insults that come on.
That's a great word, stacking of the insult. It's like you can't get better for...
Yeah, because maybe the light is too bad. Maybe you're in an area where there's a lot of pollution. Maybe there's smoking going on in the house. You know, so all of these things can trigger food to be what you think is the problem. So it's not just one thing. So you really, and this is why it's always confused me to look at histamine, and I've never really brought it up on the program, because I'm saying, wait a minute, the insults are from everywhere, so where do we really begin? So let's discuss this a little bit more when we come back.
Sure. Yeah, we'll continue on the antihistamine diet.
And meanwhile, you can help yourself by picking up some Primal Edge. We'll be right back. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, oil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated folic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. Are you an options trader that's looking for that extra edge when placing trades? David White will be hosting a webinar on May 16th, which is the Wednesday leading up to Options Expiration Friday in May, where he'll discuss in depth the methodology he uses for trading options near expiration, including swing trading setups and expiration day trading scenarios. Subscribers to each of Dave's newsletters, Path of Least Resistance and the Technology Insider, gain access to this 60-minute webinar, which will be archived if you cannot attend live. Dave has had some great option trades recently for his subscribers. See for yourself the trading methodology he uses when trading options by signing up today for either of his newsletters, and we'll see you Wednesday, May 16th at 5 p.m. for option trading near expiration, analyzing swing trades and expiration day scenarios. For all the details and to sign up today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And welcome back. And one of my questions, what is a mast cell?
What is that? We're talking about histamine.
Yeah.
And perhaps histamine sensitivity and how to heal from it. And
so mast cells is a type of blood cells. They play an important role in the body's immune system. They reside in all body tissues and form parts of the body's initial defense system. Mast cells react to foreign bodies and injury by releasing a variety of potent chemical mediators such as histamine. When activated in a healthy person, these chemicals will act beneficially to protect and heal the body. But in a person with MCAS, these same chemicals are inappropriately triggered and released and have a negative effect on the body.
Okay, so MCAS is mast cell activation syndrome. As we know, our medical world is very much into creating a syndrome and so that they can figure out if they can make a drug for it. But what it really is we're talking about the situation that that our gal there on the Healing Histamine website, who is actually sharing natural ways to address this. And you're seeing more and more people doing this because we've got a state of chronic inflammation, or the healing response is not, the signal is not being sent to the body to turn it off. It's like Dr. Tennant. Remember, I always talk about Dr. Tennant, healing is voltage.
Right.
And in his lectures, he would say, I hit my thumb with a hammer, so my thumb gets red. And that is the message to send the white blood cells and go send and swell, so the inflammation is there, so that the healing effort happens.
And our modern society would take that thumb and say, let's just paint it white and it'll be okay.
Right, cover it up.
Yeah.
Many times when we have an injury, we don't respect that there is a healing process. But the idea is that inflammation is supposed to react and then subside because the healing happens. But what happens when there isn't enough raw materials to do the repair? Remember when Dr. Minkoff was here?
Right.
He was talking about if we don't have the right materials, the healing doesn't happen.
Right.
Same thing with the thumb. When we hit it, if we don't have enough electricity in our body, enough voltage, we don't get the voltage to send the right repairmen into the job site.
And then there's occasions when the trauma is too big and we need to actually stop the process a little bit, hence, overswelling and things like that.
And this is where what we've got with mast cell activations, the body has seen invaders. This is the way I can explain it.
Right.
People who are having trouble with histamine, the body has seen a foreign invader And remember, I've always mentioned to you that probably the most stressful thing that happens to the body and the immune system is when you open your mouth and you swallow food. Because all of a sudden, all of the body's systems say, is this friend or is this foe?
They're on guard.
And right. And it's great to be on guard, but that guard should happen and then they all go back.
Yeah, it shouldn't be constantly on guard. Yeah,
and so mast cell activation syndrome more or less is where the body says, oh my gosh, I've got to remediate this, and it just stays there. So you stay sneezing, your nose is all congested, you're bloated, your body's inflamed, it's holding on to water.
So let's talk about some of the things that we can do to help this process, slow it down, or get rid of the overabundance of histamine that's causing all the mucus and stuff in your body. So what are some of the things that we can do on that? Well, one of the things they can do, most spa offer fruits, herb-infused ice water. You can bring that idea home by making a pitcher of water cool.
So what we're doing is you're sharing some tips on how to lower histamine naturally, which really what we're saying, lower histamine, lower your stress response.
So some antihistamine fruits and herbs could be put in some water, and this is what you use for quenching your thirst. So you can use things like peaches and blueberries.
Or cucumbers and lemon and mint. All of these. And quite frankly, there are fruits and vegetables that are high in histamines, and there are those that are low. And at her site, she really gives you some great tips and lists of
and
things.
it depends how you use them, too, of course. Cucumber and basil is another one, pomegranate and tarragon, and green apple, lemon, and mint. So these are some of the combinations that you can use in your water.
And I think this is a perfect example of kind of our thesis today, is that let food be thy medicine.
I think
here.
so.
And so are we talking about eating, 50 pomegranates and a whole bag of tarragon? No, we're talking about an essence of it.
Pretty much.
A small amount.
Yeah, when you're adding lemon to your water, you're not throwing the whole lemon in. You're throwing a little bit, maybe a quarter is the most, or maybe an eighth, or maybe just a peel.
I like that
Or
picture.
maybe just a spritz.
Exactly.
Spritzes are cool.
So here's another great idea, magnesium foot soak. I have a lot of clients that say, I don't have a bathtub because I love a magnesium Epsom salt bath. If you don't, you can go to the dollar store or whatever and buy yourself a foot bucket. And while you're catching up on your boob tube stuff, or your YouTube stuff, you can soak your feet with magnesium, because not giving the body magnesium, even for just a few short days, this can actually significantly trigger histamine and inflammation.
Yeah, what's the first thing that happens when you go to the ER usually?
The first thing they do is they give you an IV, and there's either magnesium or sodium chloride.
Yeah.
So here, some of the simple healing, I call that. Simple emergency room healing we could all do at home. Let it be. So aside from being soothing, magnesium chloride bath salts are options for boosting all of our levels, and it will really help with the stress response.
Yeah, the things you can put in the soaking of your feet also is a handful of mint leaves and 4 rosemary sprigs.
Yeah, lavender, any of your essential oils or your herbs are great
to infuse
the
salt,
water.
Soda, things like that.
This is a big part of Ayurvedic healing, and the Ayurvedic healing is always about being very anti-inflammatory, but perhaps you might want to put a face mask on. And there are some Ayurvedic herbs that are very indicative of lowering histamine. 2 of them, neem. Neem is extremely powerful herb, anti-infective, anti-inflammatory, but also an herbal combination that's known in Ayurvedic healing is called Triphala, which is actually a 3-herb combination.
Yeah, the masks are kind of cool. I mean, men don't do this too often. But
I actually have a couple guy friends. I guess they're kind of metrosexual.
Well,
it's like when Stephen and I went to Bulletproof Conference, and our friend Mark and everything, they were very much attracted to a couple of the booths where they had some natural skincare, and it was marketed very unisex packaging.
Yeah.
And I
it's a good feeling. I've had it a couple times, not often,
relaxing.
but it really, really feels good, and your skin is just open. It's all of a sudden Mother Nature is there on your skin, where before it seems like you had a mask on instead of the reverse.
And interesting, Nigella sativa or black seed oil into a tablespoon of carrier oil such as jojoba and leave it on for 45 minutes. Wow, that's super inactivated charcoal. You can mix charcoal in with masks and oils. And this
Moringa oil.
Exactly. Cucumber hydrosol. I mean, this is all my world. I love all this stuff. I read this and I get relaxed just reading it, you know?
Now, they also have moisturizing with histamine oils. I didn't know there were such things, but these are, I guess, are natural creams. Not only do oils have antihistamine properties, they also have anti-aging and skin beautification benefits.
Well, we like, you know, one of them is pomegranate oil.
Okay.
And as you know, part of my terrific tonic protocol is adding pomegranate juice, just a shot or so, for the benefits to support arterial elasticity of the arteries, right? Health. Well, a lot of women use pomegranate oil to maintain, you know, breast skin integrity. It has a, we learned from Green Med Info that pomegranate is the stand-in ovary, has estrogenic, healthy estrogenic properties. This is all fascinating stuff. Hope you find it interesting. We'll continue with how you can keep your stress low and your histamine low at the same time.
Stick around, folks.
One of the keys to success in anything is the ability to make new distinctions. So what new distinctions are you making to achieve even more success in your life? When it comes to trading and investing, I wanted to become the best of the best, which is why I went on to make new distinctions. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest have been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as the #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 in gold. On Wednesday, May 23rd at 5 p.m., I'm going to share with subscribers one of my newest distinctions, which is how to follow the money and do so with multiple currencies. You see, money has to flow somewhere, and with the world getting smaller and smaller each day, you and I can identify exactly where most of the money in the world is flowing. Sign up for Mastering Probability by coming to the homepage of TFNN.com to begin your 30-day money-back guaranteed trial membership and learn the exact tools that I use to time the markets. And if you can't attend live, don't worry, because the workshop will be archived on your members page for the next 30 days. Sign up today.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks.
No matter where you're listening to TFNN programming, you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones, iPads, and Android devices, located in the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and call-in talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com, educating investors.
So we've been talking about healing histamine, or helping to lower things that cause inflammation in the body. And Nico, you know, we've been talking about eating low inflammatory foods, but you know, there's something else that gets with you and might be irritating. How about bed bug poop? This might be triggering your histamine. I mean, I know, you know, it's kind of an icky subject to talk about, but this could actually be, as the article says, a reason for uptick in symptoms, so especially when you're at home or cleaning. How many of you have maybe done some cleaning in your home, or declutterizing, or normal cleaning, and you feel stuffy and tired afterwards? You know, 1 in 5 Americans have experienced a bed bug infestation or know someone who has. And that can be really bad news for people that are already on alarm with elevated inflammation and histamine.
Yeah.
And they may react much more strongly to this.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast last night, and they were talking about chimpanzees and the difference between us and humans and how they sleep and what the test of the bed. So they took the bed of the chimpanzee, did some tests on the bacteria in the humans. They found that the humans have like 100 times more bacteria. Why is this? They're sleeping in the wild. Well, it turns out that when they're sleeping and they have to go to the bathroom, they just kind of put their butt over the edge.
Who does this?
The monkeys.
Chimps? Okay.
Yeah, not us.
Yeah, right.
And the chimps actually make a new bed every single day.
Oh, okay, and we
have that mattress that's there for years and years and years. The sheets might get changed, but then what falls into the mattress?
have you heard that thing that your mattress gains how many pounds of weight?
Yeah.
After,
thing.
it's something ridiculous amount of weight, like 50 pounds.
So maybe we should put the mattress on a scale, and then we can see when it's getting a little too heavy there.
No, that's what they say.
Yeah, I
you
agree
know
with
if you
you.
have
Yeah.
your bed, but anyways, long story short, these are just some of the allergic things. It's not just about the food, as Nico and I say, it can be our environment, and many of us have toxic indoor air, and we have a solution for that, be an outsider. Get more primal,
That's
reconnect
right.
with
the
nature.
The air in your house is generally more toxic than the outdoor air, of course, unless you're living next to
That's
a plant.
exactly right. That's right. It's actually a 2015 assessment of the global burden of disease risk put indoor air pollution as the 9th largest risk for diseases worldwide. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
And so don't let the bed bugs move in. A 2018 study found that histamine was found to be an unexpected contaminant in the home. The delivery method was through the bed bug poop.
Yeah.
And histamine is actually a large component of bed bug poop as a part of their aggregate pheromone, a chemical that helps bed bugs find each other. Isn't that cozy?
I didn't know they found each other. They got their own little website, I guess.
So, not to creep you out today, but what do? First, if you have bed bugs, you get rid of them pronto. Admittedly, it's not easy. Well, the truth is, we all have bed bugs.
That's right.
The
Just don't let them poop.
The question is, have they just has there been such an increase in them? They're very resilient creatures and they're very resistant to insecticides. Well, we don't necessarily want to do that either. And if you have histamine issues, you're not going to want to add any more chemicals in your home.
That's for sure. So it could be, I can see this adding up.
Yeah, I guess there's some green alternatives for helping you with that. But
well, you need to change the sheets often. You need to be aware of your mattress and make sure it doesn't get too old, or vacuum the darn thing now and then. That helps too.
And use some essential oils. Cedarwood, thyme, and oregano. All of these essential oils showed insecticidal activity, but were completely safe for humans. And you do need to clean regularly, whether it be, with natural essential oils, like you said, using a vacuum cleaner, kind of suck that up, or decide that maybe we have to buy a new mattress more frequently.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty interesting.
And also keep the air moving in the bedroom. I mean, you don't want to, it's a stuffy place if everything's closed up all the time. And in the summertime here, and the wintertime up north, that's generally what we do. We close it up so that we maintain the heat or the cold. Yeah.
It was kind of interesting, real quick. She said that she drove her partner completely insane about these bed bugs, but it was actually a fruit dessert she was eating that was causing her to itch.
Oh, so you never know.
But just the thought of the bed bugs was driving her crazy. Oh, well, guys, see you next show.
Okay.
Have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his Opening Call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the Opening Call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.